What scares you, Michael, at this point in your life?
You know, I'll tell you a couple of things that scare me. Number one, there's a there's a scripture that says that the sins of the father can fall on the children, and I think we've seen that throughout biblical history. And my prayer always to God is, God, don't let any of my children suffer because anything that I have done in my life. That scares me, and God has been very gracious in honoring that. I have my daughter, one of my daughters, I have five daughters, is going in tomorrow morning actually for thyroid surgery. They found two cancerous nodes there.
Wow.
And that scares me. I know it's going to be okay because that's the prognosis is excellent with thyroid surgery. But just having my daughter, who's, she has anxiety, going under the knife like that is scary. So, if, my wife and kids, I just want them to remain healthy and fine. And the thought of that not happening is scary. And I'll tell you the other thing that's scary to me. Biblically, there is a passage that where people have died and they're in front of the Lord, and they're on judgment day, so to speak, and they look at God and said, God, I casted out demons in your name, and I, preached about you, and so on and so forth. And the Lord looks at them and said, I do not know you. And what he's saying there is, when we're doing these things for self-satisfaction, don't matter. Our hearts have to be sincere in doing this for God. And, one of the things that troubles me so much, in the New Testament is that one of the times Jesus was very angry was when he looked at the Pharisees and he called them hypocrites. He called them out in front of the masses. He said, you're not doing this for the people, you're doing this for yourself. And that's scary, because when you reach a point in your life where, you're a celebrity in some regards, and it's a faith issue, who are you doing this for? And I always try to stay grounded in that regard. I found out, I had this conversation with Daryl Strawberry. Who Daryl is,
Yeah.
love Daryl. He's a brother, and I just love him. And we did a sit down recently, and I said, Daryl, I found out that humility in people is such a strong character trait. There's such strength in humility, especially when you're a guy of power and you're a humble person. And I see that in Daryl, and I see that in a lot of people. And I think, humility is a tremendous characteristic when it's real and genuine. And so, because you know what, Daryl and I were talking, I don't care who you are. This life can turn on you in a second. You know what got me, first thought in my mind, when the Shah of Iran, who was worth zillions, had all the power, and he couldn't beat cancer. He couldn't beat it. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I mean, life is gonna have its toll on you when it's your time. And we have to realize that we're nothing. I mean, without God's grace, and humility is very strong. We should all be humble people, because it's one of the biggest strengths we can have.